Hey, eyes forward, asshole.
No, you got the wrong...
Back up, shithead.
Hey folks, the not so evil Viking 13 here, talking about a game that I was not planning on talking about whatsoever, Watch Dogs. I definitely did not buy a copy of this game, it was not on my radar whatsoever, but friend of the channel and regular viewer Ultra Grunt provided a copy for me to play, and I of course cannot turn down free things. My first impressions though were definitely not great, in fact I would call them horrific. The PC version that I'm playing here is plagued by terrible stuttering, especially on systems with dual graphics cards like mine. At least that's the case for Nvidia cards. AMD cards are experiencing, from what I've heard, lower performance overall, just not quite the exact same stutter issues that some Nvidia users like myself are experiencing. How bad is that stutter, you might ask? Well, let's take a look right here. This is an actual in-game clip, and you guys can see in the frame rate counter there in the corner via DxTory that the game is basically hanging for massive sections of time. This makes it basically impossible to drive, navigate, react to threats, really do anything but wait for the game to recover. As far as I can tell, this is when the game is swapping out things from memory. A system engineer from Ubisoft tweeted out that the game uses a unified memory system, obviously on the consoles, the system RAM is all shared, and here on PC, it's really not optimized. It hits the VRAM hard. In fact, they say that you have to have a 2 gig graphics card as far as your video memory goes to use ultra textures. I'm having to use textures on high with a 2 gig graphics card, and really I want to go down to medium to avoid the stutter. But then the textures get noticeably blurry, so I basically try and play in between the stutter. At this point you're probably asking, okay, that's a few minutes of talking about stutter and performance issues, and you guys can tell here that the game looks good, but not necessarily next gen. It's not the new Crysis, and honestly, it really doesn't deserve those system requirements. It looks good, but just not mind-blowing like you'd think looking at those system recs. So, why am I still talking about it? Why am I posting a video about it right now? And why am I playing it with these severe issues? Well guys, I'm gonna be honest here. I think I'm close to like 40 hours into the game in the last week. Something about this game has just clicked with me. A lot of reviewers are talking about how the story is cliche and your main character is kind of flat and not very interesting, and I'm not that far into the story. I think I'm not even a third of the way, right about a third of the way in. But even with all the cliches in the story, I still find it mildly compelling. I'm still interested in it. There are some very interesting supportive characters in the main story, and I do care about the main character and his issues, and I do want to see them resolved, even if they're not, you know, Game of Thrones level of writing. Overall, I'd say the story is adequate and definitely enjoyable, but that's also not enough for me to actually stick through all this stuttering. Maybe I just haven't had an open world game on PC in a while, but I found the world of Chicago that they've created here in Watch Dogs to be beautiful, large, varied, and very, very immersive. There's a nice contrast between the rural areas over in Pawnee and the downtown skyscrapers, and there's plenty of alleyways and hidden sections to run around and stop crimes and break into people's home security systems and spy on them. And that's probably what has really hooked me, is unlike the Assassin's Creed games where I felt like I'm just repeating the same side missions over and over again, I feel like the Watch Dog missions are taking me to new places constantly. And they definitely do repeat. I have been to some crimes that I've stopped in the same areas, the same alleyways, and that sort of thing. But like I said, the environments they're taking me through are compelling enough that I do want to keep exploring, keep solving these crimes, and it's also the citizens' reaction to you as you're solving these crimes. At this point, I've basically worked myself up to hero status, and now as I run around solving crimes and helping people, people shout advice, encouragement, tell me to run away before the cops get there, and they'll snap photos of me, and it's kind of cool how the city actually reacts to my existence. If I were playing a less than stellar character, maybe a bit of a ruffian, I would also get opposite reactions. People would react in fear, they'd call 911 more often, and that sort of thing. As you're playing through these missions, both the side missions and the main campaign, I think that the combat in this game, for me, is my absolute favorite cover-based combat system that I've played in a very long time, maybe since Last of Us. It just reacts really well, even with the awkward mouse smoothing on PC. And with your suppressed weapons and all the gadgets you can use to hack, it feels like a giant puzzle. So you're basically driving around this gigantic city, and you're solving crimes and missions. You have fun and enjoyable, if occasionally repetitive, cover-based combat, but then, like I mentioned, you have the hacking, and that's kind of the extra spice thrown into the mix to set this game apart. The hacking is more or less a straightforward magic hack everything button. It's either Q on the keyboard or X on the controller, depending on which one you're using, but there is a wide variety of things you can hack, and finding new and creative ways to use these hacks, whether it be blockades, explosions, bridges, gates, tire stoppers, there's just tons of things you can interact with. And even though they're the same objects constantly, you are unlocking more things as you progress, and they are laid out in ways that you can actually be creative with how you use them. I've actually surprised myself during chases, escapes, anti-crime missions, and even story missions with how I've creatively solved problems. This is of course an open world game, and combining that open world just set of options with the hacking is a really fun mixture. I would say an addictive mixture for me. I really can't get enough. Combining everything together, I think what keeps me coming back to Watch Dogs for more is how the game convinces you that your character is just this unstoppable force as long as you're at the controls and you're hacking the right things at the right times and you're planning your strategy and everything is just coming together. The game makes you feel powerful, and it does it in a lot of different ways. That is the main selling point of Watch Dogs, and it's why I keep trying to play through all the stutter while I wait for a patch from Ubisoft. Would I recommend this game? Well, I never thought I would say this on this channel, but if you've got a PS4 or an Xbox One, I have heard good things about the console versions as far as performance goes. If you can't wait, pick those up and enjoy the game. For the rest of us PC players out here, I would just adopt a wait and see approach. Wait for this performance patch and see if it actually helps. But as soon as that performance patch does drop and things improve as far as the game goes, don't be afraid to hop in and experience it. There is a lot of fun buried below the game's performance issues. I do have a cinematic video coming out in hopefully the next few days that I've been working on, highlighting some of the things that you can do in the game, and just kind of showcasing how good the game is, like I said, at making you feel awesome as you're going around the city, and in my case, helping people, solving crimes, and taking out the bad guys. So that is the state of Watch Dogs on PC. I hope you guys have found this informative, and if you are suffering on PC like me, let's keep an eye out for that patch. Don't forget to keep your eye out for my cinematic video for Watch Dogs. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I will see you all next time.